On the first day of school, Maya sat at the back of the classroom, feeling invisible. Little did anyone know, a simple act of kindness from her teacher would spark a journey that would not only transform Maya's life, but also change her teacher's in a way that would leave everyone shocked. Maya sat at the back of the classroom on the first day of school, as she had every year before. She had learned early on that blending in, staying quiet, and keeping her head down was the safest way to navigate life. At the age of 12, she had seen enough of the world to know that being different meant being overlooked. Her clothes were second-hand, her hair always a little messy, and her lunch, usually a small sandwich and a fruit, was nothing compared to the fancy meals her classmates brought. But she didn't mind. She was used to it. Her mom, a single parent, worked 2 jobs to keep a roof over their heads. Maya had always been told that things would get better one day, but that day seemed like it would never come. Still, she made it through each day the best she could, determined not to be a burden. She wasn't good at math or reading, but she did what she could, often hiding behind her silence to avoid being noticed. Miss Carter, on the other hand, was different. She was in her late 30s, a teacher who truly believed every child had the potential to shine, even if they didn't know it yet. Miss Carter was known for her kindness, her patience, and her ability to connect with students, especially those who struggled. The moment she walked into the classroom, she exuded warmth and a sense of understanding. And when she saw Maya sitting in the back, trying her hardest to blend into the background, something tugged at her heart. She knew that Maya wasn't the type to raise her hand, wasn't the type to speak up. But Miss Carter also saw something in her, something more than the shy, quiet girl who kept to herself. As the days passed, Maya did what she always did, kept to herself, quietly working through her assignments, doing just enough to get by. But one day, during a math lesson, Miss Carter noticed Maya struggling to keep up. While the other students quickly jotted down answers, Maya's hand trembled over her paper and her brow furrowed in confusion. Miss Carter paused the lesson, looking around the room. "Is anyone having trouble with this one?" she asked, her voice calm and reassuring. Maya stayed silent, too embarrassed to speak up. But Miss Carter noticed her hesitation and walked over to Maya's desk. She leaned in and asked gently, "Maya, are you okay? Do you need some help with the problem?" Maya's face turned red and she shook her head. "No, I don't get it," she mumbled, her voice barely audible. Miss Carter smiled softly. "It's okay to need help. We're here to learn together. Let me show you a different way to look at this." She sat down beside Maya and began to explain the math problem in simpler terms. It wasn't a typical approach, but it was the approach Maya needed. As Miss Carter spoke, Maya began to feel a flicker of understanding. It wasn't that she couldn't learn. It was that she hadn't been given the chance to see things differently. "Thank you," Maya whispered, her voice trembling with a mixture of relief and gratitude. Miss Carter nodded. "You've got this, Maya. Sometimes we just need a little extra time to figure things out. You're doing great." From that day on, Ms. Carter worked with Maya after class, staying late to help her catch up on lessons she struggled with. It wasn't easy. Maya felt embarrassed to be the one who needed extra help. But Miss Carter was patient, never pushing too hard, always encouraging. She would break things down step by step, using creative methods to make learning more engaging for Maya, like turning math into a game or reading stories out loud to help her improve her fluency. At first, Maya wasn't sure if she could do it. She'd spent so many years thinking she wasn't smart enough that the idea of being good at school felt impossible. But with Ms. Carter's support, Maya began to improve. Slowly at first, but steadily. She would ask questions, try new things, and even start to help her classmates when they didn't understand something. She wasn't the loudest, but she became a quiet leader in her own way. One afternoon, after a particularly difficult lesson, Maya stayed behind to work on a reading assignment. Ms. Carter had asked her to stay because she'd noticed a difference in Maya's work. She wasn't just doing the assignments, she was putting effort into them. "Maya, I've been watching you," Ms. Carter said as Maya sat at her desk. "You're putting in so much effort, and it's paying off. You're starting to understand things better." Maya looked up, surprised. "You really think so?" "I know so," Miss Carter said with a smile. "And I think you can do even more. You have so much potential." Maya felt a warmth spread through her chest. It was the first time anyone had said something like that to her. Maybe, just maybe, she wasn't as invisible as she thought. But the real change came when Maya started to take what she'd learned from Miss Carter and apply it to other areas of her life. She began helping her classmates with their homework, explaining things in ways they could understand. She no longer feared being asked questions in class, and over time her grades improved. It wasn't just about passing anymore, it was about succeeding, about proving to herself that she was capable of more than she had ever believed. Then came the end-of-year test, the one that would determine if Maya could advance to the next grade. Miss Carter had no doubt that Maya would do well, but Maya for the first time felt a flicker of doubt. What if she failed? What if all her progress was for nothing? On the day of the test, Maya sat at her desk, the paper in front of her, her hands shaking. Miss Carter walked past her, pausing for a moment. "You've got this, Maya," she whispered, giving her a reassuring smile. Maya nodded, trying to steady her nerves. She remembered everything Miss Carter had taught her, the tricks, the encouragement, the belief that she could do it. And when the test results came back, Maya couldn't believe her eyes. She had scored higher than ever before. It wasn't just passing, it was a perfect score. Maya had done it. The transformation was remarkable. By the end of the year, Maya wasn't just a student who had improved. She had become someone others looked up to. She was no longer the quiet girl in the back of the class. She was a confident young person who had overcome her struggles with the help of her teacher, Ms. Carter. But the real shock came at the end of the school year, during the graduation ceremony. Maya was chosen to give a speech on behalf of her class. Standing at the podium, her heart raced as she looked out at the sea of faces, her classmates, their parents, and of course Miss Carter. "Miss Carter," Maya began, her voice trembling at first, "you are the reason I stand here today. When I first came to this school, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I was smart enough or good enough. But you saw something in me that I didn't see. You didn't give up on me when I thought I wasn't worth the effort." She paused, wiping away a tear. "You taught me that sometimes the most important thing we can do is believe in each other. You gave me the tools to succeed, but, more importantly, you gave me the belief that I could succeed. And for that, I'll be forever grateful." The audience was silent for a moment, then erupted into applause. Miss Carter's eyes glistened with tears as she stood in the back of the room, pride swelling in her chest. She hadn't just taught Maya math or reading. She had taught her how to believe in herself, and that was the greatest lesson of all. After the ceremony, Miss Carter approached Maya, her heart full. "You've made me proud," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "You've taught me as much as I've taught you." Maya smiled, her heart full of gratitude. "Thank you for everything, Miss Carter. You changed my life." And as Maya walked off the stage, she realized that the greatest gift anyone could give was the gift of belief. The belief that we all have something special inside, even when we can't see it ourselves.